Come on. I'm sorry. He's gonna he's gonna do something. You're hearing Elmo now, probably. So
you're live at this point. So if you keep explaining it, it's all
no,
going out.
But I mean, come on, man. Listen, I do feel kind of bad.
Howard Stern's penis, Baba Booey. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Nuts.
All right. Welcome everyone to the MMA Vivisection, along with Daddy Day Camp, the MMA Vivisection, and with me, Zane Simon, my co-hosts for this weekend's Invicta fight card, Invicta FC 24, Victor Rodriguez, and Dio, and Little Vic.
All right. Yes,
so
indeed.
We're going to talk about this ravaged Invicta card, which honestly, compared to some, I'm not going to say
still ain't that bad compared to some of the bad ones. Yeah.
Well, it's also like it hasn't actually lost as many fights as some have. It feels like every Invicta card kind of goes through this thresher where it's like, oh, we're gonna have like 10 fights, and then by the time it shows up, you're like, it's like 5. It's an hour and a half, and you're like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, like there's 2 memes now that happen when Invicta shows up. It's not an Invicta card unless somebody misses weight or multiple people miss weight, and it's not an Invicta card unless 3 fights get changed. Like it's almost every single card. And with this card, we had I guess it would be 3 fights have gone through since Megan Anderson was supposed to fight. Who was she gonna fight?
Helena Kolesnik.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And then Tanya Evinger is in the UFC now too. So
yes, that
fight fell through with Helena Kolesnik, and then Raquel Paolui and Yana Kunitskaya, that got scrapped because Kunitskaya got injured. And then earlier today, Mallory Martin pulled out against Tiffany Masters. So
we've got 7 fights to talk about, and we've got odds for 4 of them.
Sounds about right.
So that's we're just gonna the Invicta, they have their troubles. They always still put on good fun cards that are fast moving and fun to watch, so you can't complain too much. It just sucks that they keep having so many problems getting to the actual fight night. For tonight's card, we're going to jump right in with a featherweight bout. Felicia Spencer versus Amy Coleman. And Dio, what do you know about this fight?
It's going to be a hoss fight, what this is. This is a lady hoss fight. This is just like 2 tanks. This is going to smash against each other. One has wrestling and the other's got jiu-jitsu. It's going to be fun. I know that much. Like, this is one of those ones where for me, it's a pick 'em because it's both similar levels of experience. So yeah, I'm going to flip a coin on this one, and I'm going to go with Spencer.
All right. Which one has the wrestling and which one has the jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu Spencer, right? And then Coleman the wrestling.
All right. Vic, do you back up anything that Dio just said?
It is going to be a house fight, all right? Now, the thing about this is we've seen both of them in Invicta before, and so definitely the much more dynamic athlete of the 2.
You cut out for a second. I lost
cut out? Okay. How about that? Is that better? Yes?
Yeah, you're fine now.
10 fingers? Okay. Hey, no, give me that. So, Spencer 2-0 is a professional with 1 TKO, 5-1 as an amateur with 2 submissions and a TKO. Definitely always hunting for the finish. Very dynamic athlete. She's much more spry than she would seem at first glance, and she's got pretty decent cardio too. So that's going to be fun to watch as far as this matchup goes, because she's going to be taking on Amy Coleman, who no, don't do that. 2-1 as a professional and 5-2 as an amateur. Most of the bulk of this is going to be me keeping my shit together with this little motherfucker running around. So I hope you guys are enjoying this.
I love that Vic talks to his kid like he is a grown-ass man. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I talk to him worse than I talk to you guys. So, I mean, it's all good.
Which is disgusting.
What the fuck are you doing?
I don't even
He's just like doing he's going to hit me with it. Like, really? Like, you're not going to win this fight, bro. Stop.
Oh, yeah. Some troll on here is going to call CPS on you. Like, look, I heard him. I heard him cursing on the podcast.
Good, let him. Oh my God, they're gonna be so pleasantly surprised when they show up. This is awesome. This boy lives like a king. You fucking kidding me? Anyway, Coleman has amateur losses to Eva Johnson, who we saw before in Invicta, and Colby Northcutt as well. But she also had a loss to Amber. No shame in any of these losses, given the stage that she was in as a fighter at that point. No, you're gonna shut it off. Is much more likely to go into like wild flurries and just sort of push the pace, but like just go from 0 to 60. Like her patience is not necessarily her strong suit, and she's not really big on establishing a jab and sort of working her way that way. She might be showing off a few wrinkles this time around. I don't really know. Coleman much more of a grappler, and she's going to have a reach disadvantage. So I'm going to go with Spencer on this one.
Hoss fight either way.
All right. Both of y'all picking Spencer. We don't have odds for this, so I'm not going to read them. That brings us to a strawweight bout. Suna Davidsdottir versus Kelly D'Angelo. And Vic, what are your thoughts on this?
All right. Now, Suna and D'Angelo, they both have 4-0 amateur records. 2-0 as a pro. Well, they're both 2-0 as pros as well. Davidsdottir we saw in Invicta, and I kind of, I guess, underestimated her in both of her appearances. I think I picked against her twice. She had decision wins against Mallory Martin and Ashley Greenway, and crafty with her guard work. She has a flypaper approach when it comes to grappling. Just a lot of pressure, really good at picking her shots when she's grappling. See, there you go. Now you hit your fucking head on the table. What'd I tell you? He's good. He's fine. Believe me. He can take a hit just like Daddy. I get hit in the head a lot, and it shows.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. I make no bones about it. Davidsdottir, very deceptive with her movement. She's actually a lot more agile than she seems. You know, she's pretty crafty with her footwork. But again, she has that tendency of getting carried away and being drawn easily into dogfights. She has been improving from at least one fight to the next. As far as cleaning up some of the gaps in her game. Whereas D'Angelo, really good takedowns. She's very raw, very unpolished, but she does make up for it with her athleticism and with her strength. Very hard punches. She has a bit of a funky stance when she shoots, and usually is able to catch people with that one shot down the middle. So I'm going to see if Davidsdottir is going to be ready for that or not. But the other thing about D'Angelo is she's really good at planting herself and really delivering those hard shots. So that probably her mobility disadvantage in this fight is probably going to at least give her an advantage in her power and her shot standing. So for being more complete, having more avenues to win and having a better submission pedigree, but it's not going to be easy. She's going to have her hands full.
Wait, who are you picking? You keep cutting out a little. Like, not a lot. Not enough that I need you to go over it all, but...
Yeah, it's just the important part, like who you picked.
Yeah. Hello? All right. Yeah, why don't you jump in here?
Okay. So, with this one, you guys didn't see the last fight that Suna Davidsdottir was in. It was a slugfest. She's one of those, like, if she was in the UFC, she would be like in that Leonard Garcia, except actually hitting people and getting hit, but getting hit just as much. And I think that's going to be her major disadvantage this time. Like Vic said, Kelly D'Angelo hits hard. And if she ends up getting rocked in one of those situations, you know, and then decides I'm just going to stand here and bang, she's going to go to the land of winning ghosts at some point, because you can't just sit there and take that kind of punishment over and over and over and over again. So after seeing Davidsdottir's fights, and you just have some folks that, like, once they get into that pocket and they start getting hit, instead of retreating like a smart person would, they're like, no, this is where I live. I'm going to make a home here and raise a family and get knocked out. So I'm siding with D'Angelo on this one just because of more firepower.
All right. And Vic, who'd you pick?
I'm still going with Davidsdottir, but you do raise a good point. I mean, Suna, she can be hit.
Okay. It just every time you tried to tell us who your pick was, it cut out and dropped.
No,
And
I
then
had the
dropped
iPad
out.
streaming Sesame Street next to me, so that was fucking with the Wi-Fi.
Gotcha.
Jackass.
Yeah. Now you're better. All right. Let's see. No odds on that again. And that brings us to another strawweight bout: Miranda Maverick versus Gabby Romero. And Dio, who you got?
I'm going with Miranda the Maverick on this one.
There are so many ways you can go with having the last name Maverick and a nickname. Like, it feels like it's just right there to do whatever you want with, and making it.
She goes with the Maverick. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know. It's amazing, is what it is. It's amazing. But yeah, I am going with her just for, like, I've seen more of her fights than anything else, and the thing that I notice about Gabby Romero's track record is she's still relatively new, and she's had like a ton of canceled fights, which is like a lot of time off and hasn't been like super active. So I'm gonna side with the Maverick on this one.
All right, Vic, are you as well picking the Maverick? Just lost him again. You just have to stare at that mug frozen.
It's amazing. This is high quality stuff. This is my life.
All right. So while we wait for Vic to come back, do we have any odds for this fight? We don't. Which means there you are, Vic. Did you have a spiel there?
I'm back. Am I there?
You're here now. So
all right.
Please talk about this Maverick Romero fight.
Okay,
before
so
your internet quits again.
Please, yes. All right, Romero is a jiu-jitsu black belt. 2-1 as a professional. Both were submission wins. And this one really has a Damian Maia flypaper approach. You know, she goes in for a leg or, catches you retracting from a punch that gets a little sloppy, and she will stick to you and start working from there. Able to suffocate with her pressure, and her boxing is basic and decent. Problem is that Maverick is 7-1 as an amateur, 2-0 as a professional. I mean, I kind of have to favor the black belt when it comes to grappling and being crafty, but Maverick is able to work her way out of some funky stuff. And as we all know, anytime you bring in somebody with high-level jiu-jitsu who is used to competing in jiu-jitsu but not necessarily adding the element of punchy face to the whole equation, I kind of have doubts. I haven't really seen Romero of pressure on her like that, so I'm gonna have to go with Maverick on this.
All right, you're both picking the Maverick.
Maverick. It's the Maverick. That's how we do it.
Department of Redundancy Department.
All right, Vic. Hopefully, we've got you in a moment of internet clarity that we can keep rolling, because I want to know about next up a flyweight bout: Karina Rodriguez versus Barbara
Ascioli.
Okay.
Yeah.
God damn it, man.
No, my internet should be good now because I shut off all this other shit.
Okay.
All right, Rodriguez is 4-2 as a professional. She hits hard. She's a slow starter, though. Pretty good submission defense, but it's not pretty. Although she is now training with a former opponent, Alexa Grasso, which is an encouraging sign. So hopefully we'll be able to see some progression there as well. And I got to wonder how that'll influence her abilities in the cage. Ascioli, Brazilian talent. People grow out of certain bad habits. You never know. Ascioli, 4-0, all as a professional, 2 submissions, 1 TKO. Very, very susceptible to takedowns, and her striking is not pretty at all. It's just functional to close the distance and sort of keep people away, but not much else. However, she makes up for it by being really just absolutely excellent off her back. So, I mean, if the fight has to get there first, and I think Rodriguez is smart enough to know about how that's going to go. So I got to favor Rodriguez by at least winning rounds and keeping the fight and where it would favor her most.
Dio, we're barely keeping Vic in this thing, so you can't interrupt him. I gotta, like, give the man his space.
Shh. Damn it. Okay.
All right. Dio, who are you picking?
I'm gonna pick Rodriguez on this one as well. Just for this is the ugly fight, not aesthetically, but just like skill wise. This is the ugly fight of the card. You have a slow starter, and which Vic just brought up. She's training with Alexa Grasso now. Which, when I said bad habits, I mean that team, that coaching team has bad habits that they tend to teach people. So, I'm still siding with her, but just seeing how like Osceola was just like, I don't know what her striking defense was. It was just kind of like, I don't know. So yeah, I'm sticking with Rodriguez on this one. Maybe as Osceola will surprise us and get like a sub offer back, but I don't know. This was gonna be a ugly one.
Well, if you two are to be believed, and given your Invicta picking track record, you're not. But if you are, you got a point to make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Okay. The odds on this are wild. Barbara Osceola is a minus 530, minus 503 favorite. And Karina Rodriguez up at plus 350, plus 377. She opened at plus 435 and it's fallen down to plus 364 since then. Osceola opening at minus 705 and now at minus 516.
How?
I don't know what bookmakers were thinking with these odds. Maybe they thought that Barbara Osceola was somebody else, but it seems like people are already taking advantage of them as they're closing in a hurry.
Yeah, because that is easy money. Shit. I wish I'd have known that earlier. I'd have put $20 down. Good God.
Yeah, hugely weird odds on that fight between two complete unknowns, one of whom has at least faced some decent fighters and is now training with at least a somewhat notable camp. All right.
Vic's gone.
Not again. That's okay. You're up next again, so I don't have to worry too much about that. That brings us to another featherweight bout on the card. The step-in fight for Anderson and Evinger, Pam Sorensen versus Helena Kolesnik.
Yeah. So we've seen Pam Bam Sorensen fight a few times now with Invicta, and she's sturdy as hell, good just about everywhere, and is just really tough and scrappy. Like, she is a little fire hydrant. You could probably hit her with everything in your house. She's probably not going to get knocked out or finished in any way. Helena Kolesnik, I got nothing. Oh, Vic's gone.
that picture of her on Tapology is
oh yeah, it is something. There's nice lighting. Somebody retouched it, and I always
like hand on chin thing going on.
Yes, and anytime I see nicknames like this, especially when it comes to female fighters, her nickname, we kid you not, her name is Helena. Nickname is Pretty Kolesnik. She saws, what is this? On this one, this is another one of those, for me, one of those unknown quantity type situations. You have it happen a lot with, look at this guy. You have it happen a lot when it comes to, we see this a lot in Brazil, a lot in Southeast Asia, and as well in Eastern Europe, where these fighters have fought people, but there's no real way to know if these people are actually of any substance or what. So, and like looking at the people that she has fought thus far, she's fought people in China, and she fought
a bunch in China, and then Crep, which they have some fun prospects in Tech Crep, but it is a Can Crushers league for developing fighters that they hope to like push over into bigger promotions.
Right. What's the one that we have over here that's like that?
Explode?
Explode. There we go. Yeah. That's what it's so. Especially seeing how she's been marketed, because she's won all of her fights thus far, which I'm gonna assume that she's been can crushing the entire time. And especially, her nickname is Pretty. Like, I just don't see. I think Sorensen is going to run through her in hilarious fashion.
Yeah. Vic, you able to deliver any of your own analysis here?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might. Okay, so now that my laptop took a shit, let's go into this. Yeah, I like the fact that you guys were commenting on Kolesnik's record and how spotty it really is when you take a closer look at it. 3 of her opponents were making their debut. 2 of them were 0-1. One of them was 1-4. Not very promising, and I don't really see her fighting anybody that's got like a solid wrestling game and a more complete MMA game, whereas Sorensen is a tank. I mean, she will be able to blitz in, eat a few shots. She does not care, and yeah, I really think I got to give it to Sorensen on this one. Decent takedowns, really good at just staying in the guard and punishing from there. It won't be very pretty, but it'll get the job done.
Intended.
Can you imagine that this was like this woman was supposed to fight Tanya Evinger?
Yeesh. Evinger would have stolen her soul.
Saved.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Pam Thornton, at the very least, like Pam Thornton's not bad, but she's not going to hurt her the way that Evinger would have, or that Anderson could have.
Yeah, like Evinger would have like beaten the dog shit out of her and then kissed her in the mouth in the process. Like it would have been demeaning on so many levels. Wow, that's bad matchmaking.
All right, Sorensen, surprisingly, then is only a slight favorite, opening at +125 and now dropping quickly to -147. So she actually started at underdog odds in this fight.
I don't know what these odds makers were thinking. This is
and Kolesnik started at -165 and is now at +113. So people are making some quick money jumping in early on these Invicta odds.
I'm doing that next time too, because if they're doing stuff like this, and wow, okay.
All right, that brings us to an atomweight fight now. Jinyu Frey versus Ashley Cummins. And Vic, tell me about it.
Ooh, yeah, this is a tough one too, because Ashley Cummins is showing a lot of improvement in her recent outings. She went through a bit of a rough patch, 3 losses in a row, tried out for the Ultimate Fighter. I don't think she qualified to get into the house, but eventually she racked up 2 wins in a row. She went over to Bellator, came back to Invicta, and she's looking a lot better. She looks like she's in much better shape. She looks like she's got her whole game down together a lot more, but Frey is just, she's bigger, she's faster, she's got better range. Excuse me. Hey, what are you doing? Thank you. And not only that, but she just seems to, her whole game, like you saw that whole fight against Ayaka Hamasaki, right before that big punch that ended the fight due to the the referee stoppage, rather, not so much the doctor. She was really handing her ass, and that said a lot. That was a very, very good performance for her. And Cummins isn't that much bigger than Hamasaki. Frey's coming into this with the same advantages, so I don't see how she wouldn't be able to do anything different here. So I got to go with Frey on this one.
All right, Dio?
Same. Like, it's as good as Cummins looked in her last fight. She still hasn't shown anything that is close to Jinyu Frey's, and her striking's better. She's faster. She's just better just about everywhere. Like, it would have to be not so much a miracle, but the people that Jinyu Frey has lost to in the past have been far superior to anybody that Ashley Cummins has beaten so far. So, yeah, it's hard to pick against Frey on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Frey watching her fight, she seems like she's really an pretty elite athlete in women's MMA. Like, you know, it's taken her a while to get her technical game together, but all the athletic upside is there. And the only people that beat her are Jodie Escabel, who's also kind of a freak athlete, just like a kind of a fire plug of muscle. Yeah. And that was a split decision. And then Ayaka Hamasaki, who's a much, much more technical fighter than Cummins. And yeah, it seems like a good fight for Frey that she should be able to win.
Yeah. The only thing about Jinyu Frey is that she gets into these spots where she becomes very tentative. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand, like, she's more of a counter puncher, and like sometimes she will just sit there and just wait and wait. She won't have an issue with Cummins like not attacking, because Cummins will bulldoze forward, and if she does, she can catch a hot one. So
yeah, I remember that Hamasaki fight, and I really liked what I saw from Frey in that bout. She looked like she was starting to solve some of the problems that were there early in her career.
Yeah.
Frey is a decided favorite in this bout, opening at -315, dropping down to -342. And Cummins opening at +235, moving up to +258. Mm-hmm. No prop bets or anything on that. That brings us to our main event now, a flyweight bout, Milana Dudieva versus Mara Romero Borella. And Dio, what can you tell me about this fight?
So this, as we spoke about earlier on, this was supposed to be the co-main event, which, even thinking about it now, shouldn't have been the co-main event. Frey versus Cummins should have been the co-main event, as when it comes to skill, name value, so on and so forth. Maybe it's just the fact that Dudieva's fought in the UFC, lost, the last two fights that she had in the UFC convincingly. But with this fight, from what I could tell with Mara Romero Borella, it's another one of those situations where you don't really. It's similar to Helena Kolesnik, where you look at her record and you haven't really seen that great of competition. It's super spotty. You have those same, somebody that's 1-0 or 1-0 or 1-4 or whatever. And MMA within the United States, women's MMA is still pretty, it's still growing. Like, I always say that women's MMA has just now gotten past the point where men's MMA was around 2005, 2006-ish. So everything is still growing. And when you go to these other countries and, literally these women have just started to really train mixed martial arts within like the past 2 or 3 years, you still have those up and down records that you had in men's MMA way back when. So I got to go with Dudieva just off of strength of competition. And, Dudieva's fought. So the last two people that she fought against was Marion Renault and Juliana Pena. Like, those are two high-level athletes and fighters. And I don't think there's anybody on Borella's MMA record. And from what I did see from her, there was nothing there that I saw that is going to beat Dudieva. So I got to go with Dudieva on this one.
All right, Vic, your thoughts?
Yeah. So here's the tough part about this, right? So Dudieva has losses to people like Julia Berzakova, who I think was her debut, Jessica Andrade on the Russian circuit, Penny Kianzad, and the aforementioned Pena and Renault. The only win she had in the UFC was against Elizabeth Phillips, who we had – not that many expectations of, did okay for a bit and then pretty much fell off. the only other win of note was Sheila Gaff, and if you want to throw in Danielle West, then fine, right? But it is what it is. Other than that, some of the opponents that she faced are currently, let me see here, 1-3, 3-3, 0-2, another 0-2, 1-6, 0-1. Listen, that's 8 wins that she's got here against subpar competition, and it hasn't really been working out. Like, her ceiling is more than well established. It's really the fact that if you get someone who is a 500 fighter or worse, then yeah, she's going to win. Other than that, it's not really looking too good. But then on the other hand, you look at Borella, and some of the people she's been fighting were, let me see, 1-3, 2-4, 0-1, or at least they are now after they fought her. Like, I don't know, man. Again, these are people that have fought mid to really good fighters, and they've stumbled every single time. Borella's got losses to Jin Tang, Stephanie Egger, and Anna Elmos. I mean, the only wins that she has here that I could say are like Subi Salamis, who's, I mean, she's got a decent record, and Lino Chinikova, who's now in Bellator, and really more of a kickboxer than an MMA fighter. So, you know, Borella's got a really decent kickboxing record. She's training with ATT. She's got that going for her. She can hit pretty well, and she can keep a consistent pace, but she doesn't really have the same kind of ground skill that Dudieva has, but then that's pretty much all Dudieva has to offer in order to stay competitive in this fight. So, I don't know. We might be pleasantly surprised here and get a pretty decent fight out of it. I wouldn't hold my breath. It is, man. It's the fight game, and it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, it's a weird one because, you know, basically every time, it looks like the time Borella took a really good step up in competition, she just started losing. Mm-hmm. And then she went back to a lower level of regional scene to be successful. And, you know, her losses were all by knockout. So, and then on the other hand, you've got Dudieva on the other hand, who's not going to knock anybody out.
Right.
And whose only real skill is honestly just her judo, like her ability to throw people. She doesn't have a great ground game. She doesn't have a great striking game. It's just the transition throws. Mm-hmm. So it's a weird fight.
It's a weird card.
I would have been happier. It's a weird card. I mean, the nicest thing to say about it, like, look, at least you don't have to pay for it on pay-per-view. And this is another one of those cards where you see where the sausage is made. Like, you know, Frey versus Cummins is pretty much an unofficial #1 contenders fight, and that's kind of a nice treat. But I would have been happier if that fight, or even Sorensen Kolesnik, would have been more worthy headliners for this card. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't know what they're really going for.
You know, Dudieva gets the place because coming off a UFC contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, you know, it's not too much to complain about, but I mean,
and
what
they
can
are
you do?
the two most experienced fighters on the card.
Yeah, so. I mean, this is making the best out of what you have, and that's just what it is. And if anything, you get another Invicta card at the end of the next month. So that's
all right. Nice. Odds on this fight: Dudieva is the favorite, opening at -155, dropping down to -172. Borella is the underdog, opening at +115, now +138. I would probably favor Dudieva just because she seems pretty difficult to submit in general. Like, she's not a great grappler for control or anything like that, but she's got a good judo like throw game and some recognition of a ground game. And Borella has never won her only wins by knockout are against superbly regional competition. Everybody else, she's either submitting or taking to decision. So I would probably just favor Dudieva based on that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm not going to try and hype anything else up because it's just a weird card. You know, we always want to be out there for Invicta, but this is a hard card to push.
Yeah, we've demonstrated enough enthusiasm. I mean, listen, it is what it is. They can't hold it against him.
You can find me on Twitter at TheseAnytime. You can find Vic on Twitter at Vic M. Rodriguez. You can find Dio on Twitter at I'm Just Dio. You can find Vic and I, and occasionally Dio, over at buddyelbow.com every now and then.
Yeah.
And we will be back next week to talk about UFC Long Island, and I will be back to do the 6th round after UFC Scotland this weekend. And so we'll have our full regular schedule of shows for next week. Heavy Hands, If I Did It, Care Don't Care, all that good stuff. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you next time.